Hello there, Greater Heartland region. My name is Clark Kendall, and we should be going live here on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining in today. Really excited about our conversation today, and you're joining us for Power on Your Business. And so we're going to walk through 4 simple steps in understanding your technology. I'm just getting a couple of other pieces lined up here. And yet, let us know that you're watching live here. If you want to include a comment in there where you're tuning in from, whether live here with us or even possibly watching this at a later point. So this is on, of course, Facebook Live, and the intent here is, of course, to make this accessible for all of y'all and make your technology fit your business in simple ways. So we're going to be walking through this here. I'm really excited about our conversation today. So just know that while we're talking about technology, know that we honor the time that you've taken to be here and want to make sure that this is of value. And this isn't just your only resource to learn our technology. Here in the Greater Heartland region, we have amazing Market Center technology trainers in every single office. And so they are there to walk along beside you on your technology journey to make sure that you know how to apply the pieces that matter to your business. While we dive into our KW technology here, there's a lot to it. And at times it can feel overwhelming because there are so many tools, and yet you might not need all of them. So the goal for today is, we're going to be focused on the basics. And I love this training because it is a simple approach. And as you may or may not be aware, what we're going to do today is really walk through what it looks like for you as the agent, but you're going to be kind of your first client walking through our technology. So that'll make more sense here in just a moment. Before we get going, here's our goal here for today. I'm going to make this a little bit larger here. Our goal is to begin your journey for your technology. Okay, so we're going to introduce all the tools here, and we're going to empower you to know what the next step needs to be. Now, what does that look like as far as our agenda for today? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about KW Tech and give you a model around our technology, an industry leading model, and also walk through these steps, getting your first lead within our technology, and also establishing your first contact, having a smart plan that you're going to run, and also your first opportunity. So we're going to walk all through that today. Okay. So first, let's begin with, why KW Tech? Right? Why do we spend so much energy and focus on being a technology company? In short, our goal as technology trainers, and of course, Keller Williams International, is to use your tech to save you more time, to give you more time back, and to make you more money. But also, the ultimate cause of keeping you the center of the transaction. Right? There's a lot of disruptors in our industry as far as tech company goes, and advertising companies that realize that there's an amazing value that the agent provides, but there's also a lot of potential in our industry to make some money. And so knowing the value that you provide as an agent, we want to make sure that you are still in the center of that transaction, that you are close to your clients, and you are the best one to serve them. And so that's going to be the why behind what we do. That's why we spend so much time and energy in training. And not only is it just the technology that you receive, like just your logins here, you have partners with you in this journey to understand what makes sense for your business. So before we get going into the how-tos or going through all those steps, I want to introduce a model here for us, and it's the lead generation model. And if you've happened to be at Keller Williams and you've taken Ignite, it's a class that is a foundational class, and it's so foundational and so amazing that it works for any size business. And in Ignite, we were introduced to this lead generation model. And so we're going to quickly walk through this model as it applies to our technology and use this model to walk through our 4 steps today. All right, so this model is essentially the timeline of a transaction, or really your how you run your business from end to end. This is based on research for the Millionaire Real Estate Agent 2 that is coming out. And so we want to understand this model because this is how business is done. And highly leveraged and successful and businesses worth owning, this is how they are run. So we're going to begin on the far left-hand side here of the three stages of the lead gen model. It begins at the lead generation at the very top. How do you gather leads? Through prospect and marketing. How do people come into your world? All right, now that might be sphere of influence. It might be open houses, Facebook leads. We're going to walk through generating your first lead through your KW home search app, your consumer app. But there's a lot of ways of getting leads into your world. So once they become a lead, then we're going to get them into that step 2 that you see there, into your database. All right. So once they're in your database, then we need to qualify them as are they a lead or versus a contact. Now, in short, you'll hear this periodically as we have more trainings on this Facebook page and YouTube channel, wherever you're tuning in. And yet a lead is somebody that we have not connected with. All right. Now that's going to be a broad definition. It could be an open house lead that maybe you want a follow-up conversation to feel connected with them. Or if they are a Facebook lead that comes in, actually having a voice-to-voice conversation. Right? Or if you're beginning new in this industry, a great practice is to consider everyone in your sphere of influence, everybody that you know and knows you, consider them a lead until you have a real estate conversation with them. All right? So know that a lead is someone you have not connected with, haven't had a real estate conversation at any time recently. So then we jump over in the contacts. Once you have connected with them, they become a contact in your database. And then at that point, we want to nurture that relationship to move them towards conversion, meaning be with them in that journey of conversion to where they're ready to make a real estate decision. Of course, as they are ready to make a real estate decision, they jump into this bottom portion here of the client referral loop. They become our clients. We provided so much value, and we have tuned in to understanding the number one reason why people choose their agent is based on trust. We develop that trust. So they're our clients, and we can also ask for referrals during that whole process. Of course, they call it a loop as well, because once we close our clients or receive those referrals, they are still in our database, and we're going to have clients for life. So that's where you see the little arrow on the far right-hand side that they go back in our database, and we just continue to grow our business and of course, serve those who have entrusted our services and their relationship. That's the lead gen model. So here's what we're going to do today. You are going to be your first lead. So at the very, very top, we are going to create you as a lead on the consumer app. So get ready. This is going to be very, very hands-on. Okay. And if you happen to be watching this later, if you're following along and some of these steps feel hurried, that's okay. We can go back and watch these, but the intent is to follow along with me, and we will walk through this whole lead gen model. So you're going to become your own lead. We're going to get you in your database. We're going to move you from a lead to a contact in your database. We're going to put you on a smart plan to nurture that relationship and also create a client referral loop, or what we call opportunities or transaction. We're going to serve you as a client. Okay, so we're going to walk through all that. It's very simple. Stick with us. Of course, if you do have any questions at all about any of this stuff, please put it in the comments. We will be able to track along with that. And let's go ahead and get rolling. So first step here is grab your phone. All right. So I have got my phone here. Okay. So please, again, play along here. So grab your phone. I want to move some things around here to make sure that I'm in the right spot. There we go. So grab your phone, and we're going to go to the App Store. All right. So, or the Google Play Store, whatever phone you might have here, because yes, we have Command, which is our end-to-end agent platform where we're solving the problem of having all these pieces of technology run your business. Command is your end-to-end platform, but also we're solving the consumer dilemma of giving them one place and time to go to for all their real estate needs, and that's going to be our app. So we're going to go ahead and download this. We're going to go to the App Store, and must have clicked on something there. And we're going to search for Keller Williams. All right. So I'm going to type in Keller Williams, and the app that we are looking for here is the white app with the red font here. Okay. So while we are here, I am going to download this app. All right. Now, again, know that this app, the other app you see just below there, the Kelly app. That is your notification app for the notifications you would receive in Command. But we're talking about the Keller Williams app, the home search app. So once you've got that downloaded, we're going to go ahead and open that. And so as you're opening this for the first time, or maybe you already have it open, you've done some of these activities, here's what we want to do. We want to, of course, allow for notifications. That's important. I'm following along, of course, on my phone here. Allow all the notifications here. And allow again. And then we're going to get started here. So in getting started, there will be a little illustrated tutorial about some of the fun things you can do. We're not going to go fully through the app. That's for later training here. It is an amazing app. There's a way you can provide crazy amounts of volume to current clients, current database or your sphere or future clients. We'll tune into that later. So we're going to go ahead and skip all this. And I want you to sign up as yourself. Okay, so we're going to hit here and sign up. And you're going to put your name in here. Now, for our example today, we're going to use Gary Keller. Okay, so just as an example here, actually, let me move out of the way. We're going to use Gary Keller as an example. So where I'm putting Gary Keller for all of our tutorials here today, put yourself in that seat. Okay, you as the agent, right? So put your name in here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in here Gary Keller. I'm going to just put in a fake little email address in here. Put Gary Rules. And it'd be really funny if this was an email address at KW. And then create a password, of course, that you'll remember. Now, the great thing about this is, as you sign up, okay, we got to accept the terms and use down there, of course, at the bottom. We'll go ahead and sign up. So if you've downloaded this app from the store, okay, as the consumer, we're looking through here, you are not yet a lead in your command database in contacts, right? Just as if you've downloaded it from the store and just plug this in, you're not a lead yet. So as we're walking through this, we want to make sure that this app is branded to you as a Keller Williams agent. Every single Keller Williams agent has the ability to have this app on their phone and share it out with their database, and it's branded to them. Okay, now just go ahead and save that so don't forget. Here is what we're going to do at the bottom right-hand corner, okay, because we do want to brand this to ourselves. And again, this is just to get the understanding of, as a consumer, I want to be connected with my agent on the app. Okay, now I know you're in the mindset of being a consumer, so we're going to make sure we connect with you as the agent. So here we're going to click on more. And at the very, very top, you'll see it says your name as you've registered. We're going to click on Find an Agent. So here's where I want you to also search for your name. All right, so I'll search for my name here. All right, and there I am, O'Fallon. And at the very, very bottom, we're going to click on Connect With, and it'll say your name. So go ahead and connect with yourself. You want to confirm that you are the new agent here that you want to connect on the app. And we are done. Now, here's what really is what happens that's really, really cool. As soon as a consumer registers on the app and is connected with you as the agent, that begins that lead generation model right at the top. We have generated a lead. And you just noticed I got a Kelly notification like, hey, you got a new lead, you got a new registration. Awesome. So that's the first step. Now, I'm not going to go too much more into the app, but you have it in your pocket now, the remote control of your life, and spend some time on this. If you've got realtor.com or Zillow.com, we've got an amazing opportunity to understand the value that we can have with this app, and we'll do more trainings on it later. But that's essentially, we're done. All right. So you've got the app, the amazing tool that you have, and now you've generated yourself as a lead. So let's go ahead and jump into Command. So I'm going to move back over here and make sure I've got all this queued up here. All right. So here we are. We are now in Command. Right. So I've logged in. I've gone to agent.kw.com. That's your Command login. I've logged in myself. If you haven't logged into Command, you don't know where that email or password is, reach out to your Market Center tech trainer. That's important. And yet, when you log in, you're going to see this dashboard here. Okay. Now, there's a lot that we can go over. And yet what I do want to bring attention to here is a quick overview. At the very, very top, you're going to notice that actually, let me share that's right screen. That you have Command highlighted up here. Now, some fun, amazing features are coming in to connect here, and you likely won't see the Command MC that you see at the top here. But what we're gonna kind of do a little demo here is the navigation pieces. So on the far left-hand side, if you click on that red box, it's gonna show you all the applets. Now, we're not gonna go through all these applets today. Again, we're taking our 4 simple steps. There's a lot here and a lot to learn in time. But yet what we're going to spend today is finding yourself as a lead that you just created in contacts. All right. Then we're also going to add a smart plan to yourself, a way to build a relationship in an automated, systematic way, and then an opportunity to actually serve as a transaction. All right. But that's the navigation piece to be aware of. There are a lot of settings that you want to go through here, and know that if you have questions in time of getting these set up, I know a lot of us have these profiles and settings set up. And yet one thing I will mention, there are 2 profiles that you want to get set up right off the bat. This profile right here is your command profile, or how other Keller Williams agents will see you. Also, if we drift under here under settings, and then on the far left-hand side, we are going to go to connect settings. This marketing profile is important because this is how the world will see you. All your potential future clients, your database, your SOI this is where you have your website branding, your app branding. All of this needs to be, make sure that it is accurate as well. So those are the 2 profiles that you need, right? We're not necessarily talking about setup. We're talking about functionality and walking through you as a client. So let's go back to the dashboard here. And while you might log in, this dashboard might feel very, very busy. Know that this is fully customizable by clicking this customize home button at the top. And actually, I realize my little cursor is not showing up, so bear with me just a second here. I'm going to share a different screen here. That way you can hopefully see there we go. There's my cursor. Okay. So you can customize your dashboard here for the information that you want. Okay, now the great thing is you can just have your task list to help manage all the relationships you need to reach out to, or manage the task for your transactions. You can have your leads, as you see mine has here. This is fully customizable. All right, so don't let it be overwhelming. Make it your own, and you'll learn that over time. Okay, so from here we are. Just move back here to make sure. Okay, awesome. You'll notice here on my dashboard that I do have a leads widget, and you may or may not decide to keep this, but you'll see that Gary Keller did show up here as a recent lead. And also here at the top, it's important to see this little bell. This is a notification as well. So this shows that I did get a lead that came in from my app. So let's go find Gary Keller, or let's go find yourself in your database. We are going to, again, the magical red box to let us know where we're going. We're going to click on contacts. So when we've clicked on contacts here, this is your database. All right. So we are now kind of in that step 2 of that lead gen model, right? If you remember that lead gen model, we've captured leads. This is where your database lives. Again, if you haven't attended Ignite, please take your market center, your office up on that next offer, or virtual, however you can take it. We could have a lot of amazing conversations in database. What we do know about databases, and we'll talk more about this on Thursday at 1:30 on closing 6% of your database, is that it's the most predictable, the most sustainable, the most enjoyable way of building a business and having a business sustain over time. Okay, so that being said, contacts, this is where your database lives. Now you'll notice here that just a quick overview, and we'll go over this more in detail on Thursday, that it's list oriented right now with the names on the far left-hand side, okay? Yet what I want to do in this instance here, I just want to find myself. As you all have registered, I'm going to find Gary Keller. So right now I want you to search yourself in here. All right, so I'm going to type in Gary Keller, and there's Gary. Okay, so then from here, I want you to click on your name. And then when we click on your name, this is your contact record. Okay, this is a record of you as being in your database. All right, so what you identify, or what I want to point out here, is right next to Gary Keller's name, you're going to see a teal L right there, and that's marked him as a lead. You'll also notice this little green check mark, and that green check mark, if you see that by anybody in your database, that means they've registered on your website or your app with the email that they have on the contact record. Okay, that's how you get that beautiful green check mark, and that's a very, very good thing. We want to see more green check marks over time. So let's run through this scenario. Imagine yourself as your first client. Put it in your own scenario, whether you're reaching out to your database on the first part, and then you've connected with them, say, hey, I'm now in real estate, or I made a transition to Keller Williams, whatever it might be, you're reaching out. And because you want to connect with this lead. All right. So let's say I reach out to Gary Keller here and I want to connect with him. I pick up the phone, call Gary, say, hey, I'm in the business now. Let me know, if you ever need any real estate needs or if there's anybody else that I can serve. So once I've connected with Gary, we want to unmark him as a lead. So we want to unmark you as a lead. So here's how you do it. We're going to click on the edit button here. And this is in the contact record. There's other ways to do this. Yet when you click on the edit button, which is the little pencil here, little gray pencil here, we're going to edit. And we're going to unmark here. We're going to unmark Gary as a lead. All right. Just by doing that, it's going to unmark Gary as a lead. It's going to remove that L within his contact record. And so now he's a contact. He's gone from a lead into a contact in my database, right? Because I'm now connected with him. I want to build that relationship more. While we're here, here's the next step I want you to do for your contact record, right? We want to be able to provide as much data and information about our database, about our people as possible. So you're going to be your first example. What I want to go through here is filling out this contact record, this edit contact, all the information you know about yourself, right? Which is hopefully almost everything, every field that you can fill out. So here I've got a name. I'm going to walk through some of these pieces of a contact. And again, follow along. This is meant to be very, very hands-on, right? Because we want to get you into action here. So, and the cool thing is, as you do these hands-on pieces, it's going to make more connections over time as your database grows and you begin to connect with people on this. So I've got my name here at the top. There's a button here to add relationships. It's important to note that as you're building your database and putting your contacts on, that we have one contact record for every individual, every soul. All right. So it's not best practice to put in business partners or husband and wife in one contact record here in full name. So one person per contact record. The nice thing is we can add a relationship here. So if I click that add relationship button, there's a bunch of different relationships here that we can attribute people within our database, and I can search for somebody whether they're in the database or not. So I think I might have I've got Jason Abrams in here. So if I put in here Jason Abrams as business partner, then that is going to be an established relationship, and we're going to be able to have those connected in Command, right? So it's an additional tool to help. All right. Moving on here, we've got our email address. Go ahead and put your phone number in here. I'm going to just put in here real quick my office number. And it would be ideal to put a mobile number in here. Please put your cell phone, because this is going to be handy when you begin to put your cell phone smart plans and see how those feel and how well you like them or what you would want to change about them. So put your mobile number in there. Also here, we have lead source. Okay, so there are a lot of built-in lead sources here. You can also customize your lead sources. The nice thing is if they came in from your app or your site, it automatically puts that as a lead source. We've already unmarked Gary as a lead. And then we move on to tags. Now, we'll talk more about this on Thursday at 1:30 when we talk about in-depth contacts and smart plans. But know that tags is a way to segment or categorize your database. That's going to be very, very helpful in the future when you want to market to different segments of your database in the way that they enjoy, right? So a tag can be high school friends, high school graduate friends, could be a previous employer, it could be folks at your church, parents from your kids' sports teams, could be anything. It could be your neighborhood that you're looking to farm. Tags, there's no limit to tags. And I'll put in here for this purpose, I'll just put in SOI, and I'll put in here SOI Missouri. All right. So know that you can have a tag there, but add yourself to the tag, whether you, let me take a step back. You might not have any tags that you actually created. There are some that are already in here. And I've got a lot of custom tags in here I've created, but there are some system tags. Anything that is in gray will be a system tag on your drop down here. One thing I would recommend, if you don't know which tags to start with, call it your SOI, your sphere, your circle of influence, your METs, whatever you would like to create that tag. You can actually create a tag directly in here. So if you don't have one, you like that term MET from the MREA version 1 book, then you can type that in there and create a custom tag. You can create a color, and it will automatically create a new tag, not only just for that contact or for yourself, for everybody in your database moving forward. You can choose that tag. Okay, but I'm just going to stick with the one that I have for my custom tag. All right, so we've got everything on this view here, but now we're going to move to add more information. And then this gives us these 3 drop-down options now that unlocked for us. We're going to click additional contact information. From here, you can choose a preferred method of contact. Okay, I'll just choose text for this example. You can put an additional email in there, an additional phone number, primary address. Okay, please put your primary address right in this spot. Okay, so I'm just going to use my market center's address here as an example. As you're typing an address, it is important to choose from the drop down because that's going to identify it on Google Maps. And if we can identify it in Google Maps, it allows us to do some really cool things later. So stay tuned there. So put your primary home address in there. From here, you don't have to select as mailing address. It can be handy, but you don't really have to choose as mailing address. You can also add social media profiles. I would put your social media profile in there. One note here, you do want to include the full HTTPS and the colon and slashes in there. That will need to be in there. And you can also add additional profiles. There's a lot of social media profiles in here, even some ones that we might have forgotten about, like MySpace. I don't even know that that's a thing yet or anymore, but it's there. So add your social media profile in there. And then let's move on to the about portion. Has a legal name spot in there. Description has been used for the example of how I met this person or what, where I understand that relationship was born or where I know them from. That's a great way to put it. But also you can be flexible in that description. Birthday, go ahead and put your birthday in there. And I'll just put a year date here real quick. And also put your home anniversary. Now, you may not know your contact's home anniversaries moving forward, and yet I would put a best guess in there. As you're building out your database, we can talk this more on Thursday, and yet tax records might be handy if you have a sale date. If you're brand new to real estate, but you've got a database you're building, maybe check the tax records and put their sale date in there as their home anniversary date. It'd be really cool for you to know that, whether previous agent probably never reached out to them or forgot about them, and you as a real estate expert get to know that. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not save my birthday. Do that again. All right, and so I will just put a home anniversary of just that. Okay, you can add additional relationships here, just like we did at the very beginning of this contact record, and you can also put a company name. All right, so there are some that are already built out into here. There's quite a few. But go ahead and add Keller Williams there as you want. Do I got enough in there? Let me remove that. But go ahead and put your market center's name in there and also job title as a realtor. Last piece here, there's a spot here for custom fields. Just know if there's anything additional that you wanted to add about these, you can actually create these under custom fields. A custom field being something specific about your contacts that you want to know across your database, right? So it could be number of kids, number of referrals they gave. Yeah, anything that we don't currently have a field for. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Now, one thing I do want to note here before I save, behind here, you might be able to see it here. Right below Gary's name, you see a green bar. It says contacts health score percentage, all right? So know that the more data that you provide Command, the more powerful it can become to establish and nurture those relationships. And so as you build out more and more of this information for more data that you put in each and every contact, it will increase their score. There's a breakdown that we can provide on that, but we won't get to that just yet. So I'm going to save this contact, and I'm going to go from 64 to, it does cross-reference. I'll just put in different number here. It does cross-reference numbers and emails. So those are ways to prevent duplicates. I'll save that. And now I've gone from a 64 to a 92% on my health score, which is nice. That feels good, right? What you also notice, it did, because I did unmark Gary as a lead, that L is now gone. But what else happened here? So on the far left-hand side, you'll notice that this is all the information that's saved about you as the agent, okay? Here you see the spot for neighborhood. Because you put your primary residence in, it will likely put you in a neighborhood. Now, if you do not see your neighborhood spot here, that's okay. That means you probably just live in a small little pocket or maybe in a rural area that doesn't have a next door neighborhood, right? Because we've got an exclusive relationship with Nextdoor. We use their boundaries to provide these neighborhoods to send really cool emails on neighborhood stats. So that's why that's there. We'll get to that in a second. So if there's not a neighborhood that automatically came up for you, that's okay. Please go ahead and add a neighborhood. So if you'll see here, my market center is in the neighborhood of South O'Fallon, but I'm going to click add neighborhood here. I'm going to click on find on map. Now this is where you would type in your address. We're going to manually choose this. We're going to manually choose this neighborhood if it did not already add a neighborhood for you. So if a neighborhood showed up, don't worry about this. You can add additional neighborhoods if you want to follow along. Yet here's, I've got Waterbury Falls Drive. It's got me pinpoint on the map. I'm going to zoom in here and you'll notice all these boundaries here where these are the next door neighborhoods. So if you are not in a neighborhood, search for your address, zoom in and choose the closest one. All right. Or if you're following along, you've already got a neighborhood, you can actually add a couple here. It's no problem. But again, what this is helpful for, we can begin to send out postcards based on neighborhoods. And we can also send out automatic emails, whether every month or every 2 weeks based on these neighborhoods. Really great stuff we can do by identifying these neighborhoods. So I'm going to save this here. And you'll notice here it did add a couple of other neighborhoods for me, with my primary being South O'Fallon. And I've got some other, my address is down here, legal name, everything I saved is already here. So everything on the left-hand side is about you as a contact that you're seeing. Everything on the right-hand side that you're seeing is how really this contact has interacted with your technology, or how you've served them in the past, smart plans that you put them on, essentially the ways you have connected with them. All right. Now, if you're just beginning, there's not going to be anything on the right-hand side. As you build out your database and add them to smart plans and complete transactions, get them closing table, this will grow. You'll notice here, as on the timeline, this first tab here, everything has been logged. It shows where the agent, me as the agent, added this contact, showed the 3 neighborhoods that I subscribed to. And at the other tabs here at the top, you'll see opportunities, smart plans, task notes, save searches. All this is other stuff that we can do. But just know everything on the left-hand side is the information about that contact. Everything on the right-hand side is ways that you've served them, relationships, or ways they've connected with your technology. Okay, so hopefully we've caught up to this part. You've created yourself as a contact. Well, let's revisit. You downloaded the app. You added yourself as a lead through the app. Unmarked yourself as a lead because you're in a contact. You're in a relationship with this scenario, with this contact record in this scenario. And now we want to add a smart plan, right? So let's again go through this scenario. If I'm reaching out to Gary Keller, he's in my database, introduced myself, or say, hey, I'm a real estate, or made a transition to Keller Williams, or just finally connecting with my database because I know I've been needing to do this for a while. I want to not drop the ball from there. I want to continue to lean into that relationship. I want to continue to provide value. All right. So that is best done through smart plans. So a smart plan is a sequence of tasks or steps. It's a sequence of steps to either automate or remind you how to best nurture that relationship. Now, you remember the lead gen funnel. Once they're there, we're looking to move them to conversion through trust and adding value. So this is what smart plans can do. Now, you notice here I do have the smart plans tab, but before we get into that, I just want to introduce smart plans real quick. Yes, we're going to talk more about this on Thursday. Yet to introduce this, I'm going to again click the magical red box. I'm going to click on smart plans here. And if you're logging in or clicking on smart plans for the first time, you'll notice here at the top it says my smart plans. Again, this is the first time, you won't see any smart plans below here, okay? Because you're just starting out. That's great. You get to be choosy on which one you add into here. So what our goal is, we've got to get at least 1 or 2 smart plans in my smart plans. And we'll talk on Thursday of what all these smart plans are and what can comprise a smart plan, what makes a smart plan a smart plan. And yet what we're going to do is I want to bring 2 smart plans in for you today. All right. probably the two most beneficial, the most highly leveraged smart plans to really find business. Okay, so follow along. We're going to go to the library. So I'm going to click on this tab that says the library. The library is a grouping of smart plans that either Keller Williams International has created for you, or the over 5,000 smart plans that other agents have created and decided to share with our industry, with our Keller Williams family, for anybody to use. Okay. The two smart plans I want to focus on today is the quarterly call plan. So this is one that Keller Williams has created and has created since the beginning of smart plans. So in the top bar here, you'll see the search bar. We're going to type in quarterly call plan. All right. Well, if I actually spell quarterly right, here we go. Quarterly call plan. And you'll know the right one that you have is if it's got the red Keller Williams author here. All right. So this plan, to give you an indication or a little idea how smart plans works, what this smart plan does. When you add this to your library, you take it from the main library into your library, and you put contacts on this smart plan, you will get a task reminder every 90 days to call that contact or whichever contacts you add to this smart plan. All right. And it keeps going and going and going every 90 days until you decide to remove those contacts from that smart plan. Right. I always like to say that this is the least techie thing and yet probably the most beneficial thing you can do in Command to build your business. All right. It's automated as the reminders go, and yet this is the good work. This is where success is found day in, day out, week in, week out of connecting with your database. So what I want you to do here is add this smart plan to your library, hit add smart plan here. Now, if I add this, you have the option to name it here. You can keep it as my quarterly call plan. You can rename it something else if you'd like. Some folks might say the quarterly communication plan, because as you're building out your database, you might not have numbers, right? So my recommendation would be if you get your entire database in here, put everybody on the quarterly call plan. And if you don't have a number for them, reach out on Facebook Messenger or email them. Any way you can connect with them in hopes to get their number and have a conversation with them. So I can't download this. I already have it in my smart plans. So that's why I won't be able. However, you do want to hit the download button. Okay. While we're here, we're going to download the quarterly call plan, which will now be in my smart plans for yourself. We're also going to search for the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. Again, this is authored by Keller Williams International. This is going to leverage the address, your primary address and the neighborhoods that you added by sending out an email every single 2 weeks of giving neighborhood relevant information for the neighborhoods that are on that contact, right? So if I'm going to add this smart plan here. Again, you can rename it what you would like. I would keep it the same so you're kind of aware of what this is. So we talk a lot about these plans here. So I would keep it the same. So we'll hit download there. And then again, that will go into my smart plans. What's nice about this smart plan library is if you're unsure what a smart plan does, you can always click on view steps here and see, okay, what does this do? Well, this plan shows us the first step is it's going to send a nice HTML email saying, hey, here's new information about your neighborhoods. And click on the neighborhood that you choose to go see about it. It's going to delay 14 days, and it's going to keep going and going and going every 14 days. There's another one on here that is the monthly neighborhood nurture. That's every 30 days, yet being as you're your own, you're adding this plan to yourself first every 2 weeks. I will keep this top of mind, and you'll it's a good encouragement that as you're getting every 2 weeks to put more folks on your database on this plan. So go ahead and add smart plan there. Again, I've already added my smart plans. So what I want to do here, you can go back to my smart plans and you'll now see these. If you didn't have any smart plans beforehand, you'll see both of those smart plans added here. I've got a lot here. The nice thing about smart plans are if I wanted to search for them, I could. All right. So here in the search bar, if I typed in bi-weekly, it's going to show up. All right. The couple ways you can add yourself to smart plans. That's our next goal. We got the smart plans that we want. Let's add you as you're now in your database to these smart plans. You can do it directly here by this add contact button. If you hit the add contact button and search for yourself, search for Gary. There's Gary. I can hit the check mark there and click add to smart plan. That's going to activate, well, I should say, when you click add to smart plan, another window will pop up where you have a couple of options. You can put yourself on the smart plan right now. So if this is the biweekly neighborhood nurture, you will get an email within 30 seconds for your first email for your neighborhood nurture. All right, so go ahead and choose that. You also have the option to start it on a certain date. So if I were to start this for tomorrow, I would get this email tomorrow. Okay. So that's one way you can add yourself to these smart plans. Also know if I go back into the contact record, I'm going to search for Gary Keller. You can search for yourself. There he is. Here's the smart plans tab. Within the contact record, if I hit add to smart plan, this little bar shows over, or it comes over from the right-hand side. Again, I can search here, biweekly. There's my neighborhood nurture, and then I can start the smart plan. There's one last little confirmation page just to make sure that you're good to go. And then you can confirm that there. Once that occurs, I'm going to hit refresh here. There we go. Let me try that one more time. Bi-weekly, it might be all the screen sharing I'm doing here. It's kind of bugging out me. You subscribe there. Okay. So I might just take a minute to update there. So we've now created yourself as a lead. You've unmarked yourself as a lead, entered all the information about yourself, added yourself to your first two smart plans. So do it for both the biweekly neighborhood nurture and the quarterly call plan. So let me go back into Gary Keller here. And sorry, I might be pushing a bit here on my screen share. Try that again. Let me refresh one more time. Whoops. So in this contact record, you'll see the smart plan has gone through. You'll get an update if you've added yourself to that smart plan that the email is already sent. So check your email. That's great that you got that. Here's a nice thing when you check on that email and you click on the email to actually go to the neighborhood nurture. This is a preview of what you can go see. So you'll notice here, it's got my neighborhood. It's got some recent homes that are in that area. You'll see my other neighborhoods because I did add two others here at the top. Very clean, very easy. You didn't have to create this. This is already created for you just by adding the neighborhood and adding the monthly neighborhood search or the neighborhood nurture plan. Right. Of course, you've got to have an email address for this to be sent. And yeah, that's all we need, address and email address. This is actually going to get reworked. We're going to see some updates here in the coming months, just some integrations with our website to bring these landing pages this is a landing page for a technical term. It's going to be brought more into our website. Some new features coming here there. Another piece to mention here, we've got our smart plan running. And if you've added yourself to the quarterly call plan, let me go ahead and do this for Gary. Actually, I'm going to just type in quarterly because I think I renamed it something differently. Yeah, there we go. That's the one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this now. And so what happens when you add a plan that has a task to it, because this is going to give you a reminder to call, all right? I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh here. And you'll notice here in the contact record that I have a task that is added. Now you'll notice here it says quarterly call with Gary Keller, due at least by tomorrow because there's like a 24-hour time period for this step. But you'll notice here that I got a quarterly call with Gary Keller. Now, if you notice that your task list may look a little bit different, we're revamping the tasks as well, adding some more functionality there. So if it doesn't look exactly like that, it's okay. Some new fun stuff coming. You can also find these tasks as you put your database on the quarterly call plan to connect with them or to reconnect with them. Here under the task manager. Oh, actually click on it. When you go to the task manager, again, yours is going to be probably a little bit different. This is a little bit of a lab. We're making it better. But you'll notice that if I search for, here's a quarterly call with Gary Keller. So this is a task list as well for all your contacts. So the very top, you want to be mindful of your contact task. If there's a task that is within a smart plan and you add a contact to that smart plan, it is going to create a task for every single contact. So if you put 200 people on a smart plan to call them every quarter, it's going to give you 200 tasks, right? We'll talk more about smart plans and ways to make that not seem so overwhelming this Thursday, 1:30 right here, where you're watching now. And yet also know there's opportunity tasks. So when we dive more into opportunities or transactions, that bottom of that lead generation model where we put them in the client loop and get them to closing, we'll talk more about this. But no, there's two different types of tasks, one that's intended for contacts and another is for opportunities. Let's talk about opportunities. I'm going to go ahead and click on Gary Keller. I always love the task list because you can click right on the name and go there. We are going to go create an opportunity. So let's again run through this scenario. I'm calling Gary every quarter. He's getting my email now every 2 weeks. And on one of those calls, he says, you know what, Clark, I'm so glad you called. I think now is the time for us to make this transition, right? I think we're ready to upgrade. Awesome. As soon as that happens, please hear me, and you'll probably hear me say this a lot, and hopefully your tech trainers as well. As soon as somebody raises their hand and said, yes, I'm thinking about making a real estate decision. I'm thinking about it. Create an opportunity for them. Just embed that in your mind. Create an opportunity for them. So a quick introduction here to opportunities. Here's our little tab here. I'm going to click on opportunities, and we'll talk more about this in the opportunity training that we have coming up. This opportunity pipeline, in this example, this opportunity pipeline is a business tool. So as you have more conversations with more people in your contacts database, they're going to raise their hands. That's going to be a lot of people over time. You want to keep track of that. And also it's going to give you a good gauge of what business is coming up. So opportunities is a business pipeline tool, the best one in a real estate industry. The nice thing about opportunities, it's also where we can get all of our tasks done for the transaction, as well as where we upload all of our documents for compliance and get them approved. And also the same spot where we submit our commission and get our paycheck in a really, really fast fashion. All of it's done right here in opportunities. It's a loaded tool, and yet we're going to introduce it right here. So we're going to create an opportunity here. If you're in opportunities, you can hit this create opportunity button. And I'm actually going to probably have to create one on the team account, which is fine. So you can hit the create opportunity button here, which will allow you to choose that contact. So you'll notice right here, I'll just scroll down here. Know that you have opportunity types. Is this a listing or is this a buyer? Or are we talking a lease here for a landlord or a tenant? Don't necessarily worry if you're not on a team, you won't have the team drop down or the owner there. You'll be the owner of the opportunity if you're just a solo agent in here, because we do have team functionalities, a lot of team functionalities in Command. So if you start a opportunity from the opportunities button here that we showed, then you'll have to search for the client. So I could search here for Gary Keller, and he'll show up. Actually, let me backtrack that. You won't be able to find Gary Keller because I'm in this team account, and there's some team functionalities here that's not going to allow me to create an opportunity for Gary Keller. So that's okay. But what I do want to do is when you create this opportunity, I want you to do this for yourself. So without going all in the back end of my team settings here, what I want you to do is create an opportunity for yourself. Listing or buyer, you choose, but choose a listing, choose a buyer, and then search for your contact. So I'm going to use, let's see here. I think I've got an example here. Joe Montana. That'll be a fun example. So I'll exchange Gary Keller for Joe Montana in this example. So choose yourself as a client here. Opportunity name, you could put a listing address in here. If it's just a buyer, you can leave it there. It's fine. Know that we do have custom tags for opportunities. These are separate from contact tags. This is not segmenting your database tag. This is categorizing or putting a tag on a specific type of transaction. So we'll leave that blank for now. We'll talk more about this in opportunities. I could put an estimated close date. Let's say in this example, looking to close at the end of October. Estimated list price, easy math, we'll do 500. Commission rate of 3. Also, don't worry about assignees here. If you're not on a team, if you're a solo agent, that's a different piece. But know that that pipeline that you saw that had very colorful listings, a green listing pipeline, an orange buyer pipeline, there's 5 phases there. You saw the 5 circles. So those are set phases. The the timeline of the transaction where somebody first is in Cultivate. So you get to choose what phase it begins in, if it's the first 3. And then we have sub stages here. Okay. So go ahead and create that opportunity for yourself. Because what we will eventually see, if you go back to your contact record, so create that opportunity. Don't worry about anything else in the opportunity just yet. But if you go to your contact record, of course, I won't be able to do this for Gary Keller based on the team settings here, but that opportunity will live under this tab now. Okay. So if you created that opportunity there, or if you're in your own contact record now, another way you can create the same exact opportunity would be here to create opportunity. Now you'll see the little, that's why I couldn't create a opportunity for Gary. It's just some team settings that we have set up. Okay. So don't worry about that. If you're a solo agent, or if you're actually on a team and you're seeing this, that's some settings that your team has set up. But create an opportunity for yourself, right? And essentially you're it. Now there's a lot more to learn about opportunities. I mean, if you're just beginning, if Gary Keller in this example, or if you're pretending yourself to create an opportunity, get yourself to the closing table, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, right, to get to the closing table. That's all done in opportunities. We'll talk more about that on a training later this month. And yet you've essentially walked through the 4 steps of understanding your KW tech. If you understand you've got an amazing app. Okay, Lex, let me transition here. If you understand that you have an amazing app to leverage for your business, right? To gain more clients, whether it's an open house or your door knocking, right? Get the app in folks' hands. If you've got that in your pocket, start utilizing, learning it so you can share it with others. It's an amazing tool. You also understand a quick introduction on how contacts work, because you're now your own contact. Okay. Begin to play around here in the contact record. Actually, I probably jumped the ball a little bit there. Let me go back here. Begin playing with this contact record. There's a couple of other things that you can do here. You can actually create a saved search for yourself here on the far right-hand side. So you can set some parameters here. The nice thing is if you create a saved search with yourself right here, because you have this magical green little check mark, you'll see those saved searches on your app. It's pretty cool. So just play around with this contact record. And the good news is, like, you can't break this, right? If the more you understand how Command works for you as a contact record, then you're going to understand more how to leverage the technology to build a relationship with your database, right? So play around with the contact record. Feel free to also peruse on the app. So I've got the app here. One of the great things, start looking at properties. Start opening up properties, start searching on them. I'll just open a quick little property here. I'll even ask my agent about this real quick. I'll just put in some information because I'm on the app right here. And I will put a note there. I can submit. All right, so start playing around with the app, because what you also begin to see is if you go back into your own contact record in Command, that you're seeing all the activity you're doing on the app, right? So you see the couple of homes that I put in here. You'll see I viewed White Rose Lane. I also contacted. I just put a test message as a consumer. So start playing around with that and see how those start logging on the timeline for yourself. I think this is a missed piece of our technology, and it's fully designed for the app and Command to talk with one another to really allow you to provide great value, but also gain insights when you need to reach out to folks based on their search history. So play around with those pieces there. You'll get your email. You'll see your task to call yourself every quarter. And of course, from there, reach out to your Market Center Tech Trainer. If you have questions beyond here, or if there's some ahas that you've gotten from here, there's something you really like that blew you away, please let them know. We love hearing the wins of our technology. Of course, also getting troubleshooting done for you as well. And it's fully intended to go, of course, drive your business, but you're not on this alone at all. So I'm going to leave just a couple more moments here for questions on comments while I'm live. So if there's something specific you're watching for now, put that in the comments. All right. So I'll get to those if anybody, for those folks tuning in live, put that in the comments and I'll get those answered. While we're maybe asking some last questions here, one other resource that I did want to share with you, I'm going to stop my screen share here, do away with my fancy filter, and share the number one resource all tech trainers use. As a regional tech trainer, your market center tech trainers, I'm going to give you the secret sauce of how we know so much about Command. All right, so let me reshare the screen here. Share the screen right there. There we go. So it's called answers.kw.com. And I'll put this here, answers.kw.com. It's in the comments below here. This is our number one resource. If you want to know anything about Command, go to answers.kw.com. This is searchable. So as you're walking through all this, and if there's something I lightly touched on today that you're like, that sounded really interesting. I wonder what there is all to that. Say save searches, right? You can add yourself to save search. I just kind of teased that. You can type in here, save search. Well, let me actually type right. Save search. And create save searches for a contact. There's an article on almost every single thing you can do in Command. And the good news is it's very illustrated. Thanks to Paul Polanski and Bryson Royer. They work tirelessly on making sure that these articles are up to date with all the updates we're doing in Command. And so you can search for anything, and you'll see here it's very visual. Almost leaves no questions unanswered when you go search for these articles. So no, it's definitely searchable based on what you're looking to do. You can also find category. It's also categorical. So if I look here and I click on Command, which is be the primary one you're looking at for an agent, as an agent, you've got categories here. Help and support. What are the best tips and practice on finding support? Also accessing Command. We have contacts, Command settings. I would definitely spend some time here in Command settings. If you click this header here, if you had other questions about setting up your profile, right? Complete your marketing profile, connecting your applications in Command. If you haven't connected DocuSign yet, if your market center uses DocuSign, then connect those. Or connecting Facebook for Facebook ads, getting email addresses, email conversations to your contact timelines. All that's in applications. But again, use answers.kw.com. It's our number one resource as tech trainers. Command does a lot, and it's changing very quickly and becoming better and better every single week. And so we reference these and make sure we're on top of our game to give you the answers that you need. So please use that. Mr. Rich, I appreciate the comment there on YouTube. You're most welcome for the training. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to close out for today. Reach out to your market center tech trainers. Share this video with anybody you think that needs it. And if you have any recommendations for other trainings, please also reach out. We're always wanting to learn what's important to you all. So we'll close for now, Greater Heartland. It was great to connect, and we'll see you again.